Hello, I'm Representative Melanie Stambaugh, and welcome back to the mini state capitol. Today, we are going to take a tour of our government, as well as discuss Washington state resources. Inside the dome of this capitol is the rotunda, which is the center of the state capitol between the House chambers and the Senate chambers. The action of these two chambers impact your life every day. A responsibility of a legislator is to ensure that the public has access to our government so that they can be informed as well as be involved in the legislative process. During legislative session, all legislators have the opportunity to create regular legislative video updates to share with their constituents. These videos talk about committee work, bills moving through the legislature, budget negotiations, guests that visit the Capitol, special events held at the Capitol, as well as action on the House floor. These videos are strictly legislative. The state capitol is sitting on a green area that represents official Washington state resources, facilities, and the washingtonstate.gov website. There is a boundary represented by this brick fence, which separates the state resources from the public domain, which is this blue area. What I want to show you is a quick demonstration of how these materials, the legislative video updates and the legislative photos, how they are produced, presented, and shared. These pink strips represent the state legislative video update resources. We also have black strips that represent legislative photos. When the video updates are created, they turn into these pink legislative video update balls. When the legislative photos are produced, they are turned into these black legislative photo balls. These, when they are produced, are inside the state's controlled green area. The legislative video update is created by the legislative member and their staff. After they are created, the state makes a decision to relinquish their control and place them outside onto the public domain. However, once upon a time, the state kept their control by housing these legislative video updates on .gov websites. But today, the state has chosen to put the legislative video updates on the social sharing site, youtube.com. These legislative video updates are placed by the state onto youtube.com. This is where they exclusively live. The public or legislators cannot access these legislative video updates anywhere besides youtube.com. By being on YouTube, the state is giving their release of these videos, saying that any member of the public or legislative member can freely share and download and utilize these videos. Members of the public and legislators then share these legislative video updates to their social media sites, like facebook.com. Legislative photos are taken of the legislature to archive and document the action that occurs during session. The state does not house these legislative photos on their .gov website. Instead, they share them to the social sharing site flickr.com. When the state places these legislative photos onto flickr.com, they add a specific license that says any user, member of the public or legislator, can freely share, download, and commercially use these legislative photos. In commercially licensing these photos, the state has also allowed questionable sites to access and utilize these legislative photos for profit. These questionable sites include a porn site, which is currently housing legislative photos of legislative members, their pages, and other guests that visit the Capitol. In order to prevent questionable sites from using these legislative photos, the state simply has to remove the commercially available license that they have applied to the legislative photos. As you can see, when the state releases these photos and videos, they make a deliberate choice. These materials move from within the fence of the state's jurisdiction in the green area, and they put them into the blue area, the public domain. They give anyone and everyone, the public and legislators, free rein to use these videos and photos however they wish. I did not jump the fence and take the state-produced videos and put them to the public domain. That was a decision that the state made. I did not cross this fence line, nor did 30+ other legislators who also share these materials on their social media sites. We access these materials the same way that members of the public do. The idea that the Legislative Ethics Board could allow these legislative videos and legislative photos to be put into the public domain and then restrict access to these publicly available materials is outrageous. and then blame it on RCW 4252-180, that's even more outrageous. Over the last 5 months, as I have been under the scrutiny of the Legislative Ethics Board and in a legal battle of $220,000 plus attorney fees, I've been defending myself against the Legislative Ethics Board for the use of these publicly available legislative video updates and legislative photos. It has been clear to me and others that I am not the one who should be under scrutiny. The Legislative Ethics Board is the one that should be under examination. Thank you for watching the second video in the Capitol series. The next video is a quick tutorial and timeline that you won't want to miss. Information is ethical.